The movie starts with a beautiful Mediterranean shot of a town, possibly in Italy, Spain, Portugal, or France. But it's actually in California. Jake and Jen congratulate Ted on his wedding anniversary with Nora, although Jake momentarily forgets, defended by Ted. Jake reminisces about a trip to Spain during their 15th anniversary, with Ally joining them as he graduates. Ally asks about Luke, their son, while Jen is distracted by the appearance of a smoking hot woman heading towards their group. This woman, Agnes, turns out to be Jake's girlfriend. The three discuss attending the graduation, with Jen staying at the Park Regent. Agnes asks about Jen's choice of dress. Later, Jane leaves, and Nora asks if Jane and Jake are getting along despite 10 years of separation. Jake seems a bit comfortable and keeps looking at Jane. Meanwhile, Janie's girls are packing items, with Gabby moving out with the help of Lauren and Harvey. Janie wants to hang out with Gabby, but Lauren is worried about Janie being afraid to sleep alone in the house. However, Janie denies it, though she wonders who she'll watch The Hills with. Gabby is excited about her move, but later asks Janie about their dad, leading to an awkward conversation with Harvey. Gabby, the blossoming millennial, is always glued to her phone. Harvey and Lauren reflect on the kids growing up fast and leaving home. They leave Janie alone in the house. Lauren thinks Janie should get a house of her own. As Janie gets inside, she washes the plates, shaking away her loneliness. Later, the patisserie is really busy, with Janie attending to the guests. Adam Schiefer, the architect, introduces himself, presenting plans for an addition to her home. Everything seems to be Adam's idea. Janie is thrilled because the renovation is everything she wanted, and she thanks Peter. However, Peter credits Adam for all the plans. Janie expresses her appreciation to Adam for taking care of every detail she wanted. While Janie is called by her staff, she tells Adam an important detail for the renovation. She doesn't want a his or hers sink. She explains that currently, her bathroom has a sink, which makes her feel bad. Adam suggests that maybe she'll want a his sink in the future, but Janie firmly rejects the idea. Adam agrees to another meeting for the renovation. Later, Janie goes to a plastic surgery clinic. When the doctor comes in, she expresses her prejudice against plastic surgery, stating that she's 100% against it. However, she feels hypocritical because she needs to fix something, like her saggy eyes. The doctor explains that she just has excess skin and suggests a brow lift. The doctor elaborates on the process, recovery period, and potential side effects, which scares Janie. The recovery period is 3 to 6 months, prompting Janie to immediately leave the clinic. Later, the lift stops at the fertility clinic. Agnes, her son Pedro, and Jake enter the lift. Agnes is in shades and appears unhappy and upset. Janie peeks through the booklet and discovers it's a pamphlet for fertility issues. She notices the tattoo on Agnes's book. Jake seems annoyed by Pedro annoying him. Later, Janie goes to dinner with her girlfriends and recounts the events of the day. Joanne comments that Jake has lost his mind, attributing it to karma for cheating on Janie and marrying a known lunatic like Agnes. The revelation becomes even crazier when it's revealed that Jake cheated on Janie, leading to the end of their marriage. Agnes then leaves Jake for another guy, has the guy's baby, and then reunites with Jake. Another friend suggests that Janie should date someone she finds on the internet, while Trisha advises her to sleep around. Joanne discusses the biology of women when they haven't been intimate for a long time. The girls' dinner turns out to be absolutely funny, as they seriously consider the idea of Janie dating around. Janie arrives in New York and checks into the Park Regent. Later, her son Luke arrives, much to Janie's happiness. Janie checks in, but there's confusion because the receptionist says Adler J, and both of them are Adler J. Janie asks if the other Adlers have checked in, but the receptionist says they haven't yet. The kids are setting up for something like a party in Luke's apartment, but Janie has plans for dinner. She asks how she can help, but Luke jokes about borrowing her credit card. Later, she finds herself alone again, stuck in the lift with a lovey-dovey couple. Janie decides to venture out instead of staying cooped up in her hotel room. She heads to the hotel bar and orders an exciting drink. Later, she hears Jake laughing, and they see each other across the room. Jake approaches Janie, while Agnes attends to Pedro, who has stomach issues. Despite their divorce, the staff still refers to Janie as Mrs. Adler. Jake invites Janie to have dinner together at the bar. Janie straightforwardly asks Jake about the fertility issues, unable to believe that he's still hoping for a baby. She muses that by the time the next graduation comes around, he'll be very old. Jake avoids the topic and suggests they just have fun instead. They engage in conversation, reminiscing about their past marriage. Janie also opens up about the last time she was intimate with someone who is now married. They continue laughing, drinking, and enjoying their time together, reminiscing about their past. Jake invites Janie to dance, and though she initially refuses, she eventually gives in. Janie feels a tiny bit of guilt because Jake is married to someone else, but they can't deny their magnetic attraction to each other. They once again have an intimate experience. Although Jake loves being intimate with Janie again, Janie doesn't feel so good. She vomits into the drawer and needs to get up. Janie tells Jake to look away, but they've been married for 20 years, so Jake thinks it's okay. However, Janie doesn't want to, so she covers herself with a pillow and rushes into the toilet. She spills her guts out into the toilet, while Jake enters the restroom. Janie is almost wailing, regretting what they did, while Jake thinks they're just having a great time. Janie hates it. Jake describes how hot Janie is now, and she vomits again. Graduation arrives, and Luke proudly marches as a graduate. The camera catches Luke's enthusiasm all over the billboard. Janie is very happy, and Jake looks at her. Gabby tells Janie their dad is looking at her, but Janie suddenly cries. Around the table, while having lunch with the family, Jake brushes his feet against Janie's leg. Janie subtly kicks him. Jake proposes a toast for Janie, even though the children are cringed by it. Janie feels that the appreciation is out of nowhere. Gabby proposes a toast and insults Agnes and the kids, expressing gratitude for having a meal together. The kids are very happy that the whole family is together, even if only for a day. And with the addition of Harley, Jake and Janie check out from the park region. Janie rolls her eyes at Jake. The family is deciding when they are leaving. Then Jake gets a call from Agnes, indicating that something is up. Jake insists that they should be on the same flight, but Janie says not to push it. Later, Adam is listening to an audio guide on how to make divorce less hurtful. The first step is to accept the ex for who she is, and Adam insults the ex. Adam is going to Janie's place for the meeting, but Janie is jogging around and forgets about it. She asks if she can have a ride home, and Adam allows her a lift while still listening to the audio guide. He eventually turns it off, and they silently laugh it off, especially when Adam hasn't successfully turned it off. Janie asks if Adam is going through a divorce. She tells him that in 2 years, things will get better, but Adam doesn't believe it. However, he ends up believing her anyway. Back at Janie's house, they go over the renovation plans. Janie suggests something about her bedroom, but Adam says it's not possible for the plan. He appreciates the property, and Janie reveals she bought the place after her divorce. Later, Jake arrives with a sleek Ferrari, and Janie introduces Adam to him. Janie insists on taking a look at the plan, especially the kitchen she has wanted for a long time. She stops Jake from peering over it. Adam leaves, and Jake asks Janie for a cup of coffee, questioning why Janie isn't returning his emails. Janie thinks it's too weird because they're essentially cheating, which she believes is wrong. She thinks it's not right. Jake reminds Janie that it's fun, but Janie reminds him that they are divorced and asks if he's unhappy with Agnes, or if he just wants to know what it's like at her age. Jake admits that he's been thinking about Janie because things aren't perfect at home, as he already has 3 grown kids, but is still going to kindergarten interviews instead. He says that the thing in New York is unforgettable. Jake launches into a whole speech about how it's so right and what they did is amazing. Janie gives Jake a Miranda Priestley stare down while laughing it off. However, Janie says she's not hoping for that anymore, especially when Jake reminds her of the past. By the way, Jake is a lawyer, hence his strong conviction. Once again, they get into explosive intimacy, and it's official that they are having an affair. Jake thinks it's not wrong, arguing that they're not having an affair because they were married for 2 decades before their divorce. However, Janie still believes it's wrong. Jake complains to Janie that his current wife is overfeeding him. Meanwhile, Janie is very self-conscious about her body at her age. While dressing up, Jake defends their affair, arguing that Janie wants space. He reminds her that their problem was that neither of them felt heard or received enough attention. However, now Janie is not running around taking care of the kids or exhausted from work, and Jake is calmer with work. They have grown into the people they wanted to be. Janie disagrees, pointing out that they're not really back together. Jake thinks it's a great idea because he has a young wife and is having intimate activities with his old ex-wife. Janie, now catering to her friends with pies, has more energy and is more motivated. She admits to her friends that this must be due to the intimate shagging she has been having lately. Her friends initially think she's kidding, but she admits she is actually having an affair with a married man, without revealing it's Jake. She shares the details of their affair. One friend implies that the man is Jake, referring to him as Agnes Adler's husband. It's like a reverse Uno card to the former mistress who ruined her marriage. They are happy for Janie, despite one friend saying it's wrong. Janie is happy to tell other people about it, though she insists she doesn't want Jake back. She terms it X with benefits. The women are extremely excited about it, especially since Janie is no longer the slave wife she was before, looking after Jake. Even the chef in her restaurant thinks Janie is blooming, noting that she seems different for the better. Janie receives a call from Adam about their appointment, so she rushes home to meet him. Adam thinks maybe she doesn't want to build the addition. Adam shows her around with the plot plans, especially her dream kitchen. He gives Janie a walkthrough of what the outcome will be, particularly the bedroom with a really nice view. Jake calls Janie, but she turns off her phone. Meanwhile, Jake comes out of the bathroom, looking extremely nervous upon hearing Agnes's voice. Not only that, but little Pedro is bugging Jake with his investigative tone and inquiries, because Jake is in the shower with his clothes on and Pedro isn't convinced Jake is showering. Agnes comes around and orders Jake to help her. It's evident how Jake's life has turned out, being dragged around by his wife and stepson. Later, back at Janie's house, Janie cooks croque monsieur for Adam. She tells Adam that she stayed in Paris during her early 20s to take a 6-day pastry class and ended up working as an apprentice in a bakery. She thanks Adam for taking her 47 emails seriously, expressing her happiness that she can count on someone. Meanwhile, Jake drives to Janie's place and finds Adam's car there. Janie asks Adam why he is divorced and surmises that it's because Adam is too nice. Adam admits that his wife had an affair with his best friend, and the worst part was that she announced it during a flight. Adam had to sit with his best friend's wife for 10 hours while she cried. Adam also says he likes that Janie and Jake are getting along. Janie and Adam talk about their marriages and divorces, and how getting back into dating seems difficult and full of pressure. While Jake sneaks around the house, peeking through the windows, he sees that Adam and Janie are getting along well. He continues to climb to get a better view and accidentally gets a peek at Janie's bum. Adam seems to spot Jake, but Jake loses his footing and falls down. Adam leaves, and Janie is very happy with his company. Then Jake knocks and enters. Janie is worried that Agnes will wonder where Jake is, but Jake insists they hang out. Jake complains that their meals are dependent on a 5-year-old boy. He expresses his feelings to Janie and proposes that they grow older together. However, Janie says that they have grown old but apart. Janie asks Jake about his current marriage, and Jake admits that it hasn't turned out the way he had hoped. He says that Agnes and he started out sweet, but when the kid arrived, it became stressful. Now Agnes wants another baby, which is even more stressful, especially since she books Jake to the fertility center every day. Jake reminisces about another piece of their past, particularly when they smoked pot. Jake brings out a joint. Later, they talk about Adam. Although Janie tries to kick Jake out, she eventually gives in to his kisses. One of her kids calls her and asks where their dad is, and she lies about his whereabouts. The kids plan to give Luke a graduation party. Then later, one of them calls Jake and even mimics Janie's line. Janie wants to shake off her feelings, realizing she is nuts for having an affair with her ex-husband. She goes to a clinic and, right there and then, tells the therapist about her situation. The therapist says it could either be a good or bad thing. Janie makes a list of questions about her current dilemma, wondering if she is just lonely or seeking revenge. The therapist calms her down by saying some reassuring things. However, when Janie asks if she should continue seeing Jake, feeling so guilty about it, the therapist gives a vague response and advises her to let go. Later, at the fertility clinic, Jake is in line to provide his specimen, feeling almost like prodded cattle. He goes into the room to start what he believes is a heartless and inhumane process of making a baby. Janie totally opposes the therapist's advice and calls Jake, deciding they should meet each other. At the hotel restaurant, Lauren and Harley are having lunch. Harley spots Jake getting a hotel key from the lobby. Realizing that Jake is having an affair, Harley chokes on his drink, but quickly kisses Lauren to prevent her from looking back. Later, it gets worse when Harley spots Janie following after Jake. He prevents Lauren from discovering her parents are there. Lauren and Harley are planning their wedding and have to see a wedding specialist. To make matters worse, Harley sees Jake and Janie kissing in the elevator. He is in unbelievable shock. Janie and Jake get into the room and prepare with romantic music, candlelight, robes, and all. As they begin their sweet moment, Janie finally reveals her body that she has been hiding from Jake. Suddenly, Jake feels dizzy and faints on the floor. Meanwhile, Harley and Lauren meet up with the wedding planner to go over the details of their wedding. Harley excuses himself to make a call and overhears a doctor arriving, looking for an Adler. In the hotel room, the doctor checks on Jake, assuming that Jamie and Jake are still together after many years. Jake reveals the medications he has been taking, including Flomax to reduce his male juice, which is counterproductive because Jake and Agnes are supposed to produce an offspring. Jamie lies to the doctor, pretending to be Jake's wife. The doctor identifies Flomax as the culprit. Later, Lauren finds Harley in a shaky and worried state, assuming he is having cold feet about the wedding and might back out. Harley assures her it is not the case. The doctor, who seems to know Harley, informs him that Jake is fine. Relieved, Harley suggests they continue with their wedding plans. Still in the hotel room, Janie and Jake are in bed watching TV. Janie confesses that she feels it must have been her fault that their marriage broke up. She says that when Jake cheated, she had already given up on him. She asks if he and Agnes are still intimate. Jake's silence indicates that they are. He admits that they are still intimate, but only if Agnes initiates it. Janie leaves, saying she needs to go to work. Later, Adam calls her again and invites her to the French Film Festival opening for the following night. Jake tells Janie to refuse the invitation, suggesting they have dinner instead. So, Janie declines Adam's offer. Adam, who has already bought 2 tickets, gives them to her coworker and her husband. Janie promises Jake his favorite dinner. She prepares the food for their dinner and wears an exquisite dress. Meanwhile, at home, Jake is in bed with Agnes, who is busy working. Jake takes his phone to the bathroom, and Agnes catches him. He lies that it's a habit, and Agnes tells him to carry Pedro to his bed. Agnes also mentions that she is ovulating, which jeopardizes Jake's plans with Jamie. While putting Pedro to bed, Pedro squeezes Jake's hand tight to his heart, making the moment precious. Janie waits for Jake, but he doesn't arrive. Frustrated, Janie calls it a wasted night. In the morning, Janie hangs out with her children and Harley. Lauren mentions that they went to a hotel for lunch, and Harley subtly implies to Janie that they were there and didn't see anything suspicious. He hints again when Lauren mentions their dad's favorite food that Janie cooked the other night. Luke comes home with Jake driving. Harley notices that Janie and Jake are cold to each other. Jake is called by Agnes, interrupting his time with his original family. Janie announces that she is bringing Adam to the party. Harley keeps drinking wine nervously. Luke gives Jake the ingredients Agnes was looking for, so he doesn't need to go to the market. Jake drags Janie aside to talk, giving an excuse and apologizing for not seeing her. Janie realizes the reality of being a mistress and decides she doesn't want to do it anymore. She says she feels figured out even after the divorce. Harley interrupts their moment. Jake leaves, but Janie asks Harley what he has seen. Harley tells her everything he saw, but promises not to tell Lauren about it. Janie, Harley, and the kids gather around as Jake leaves. The party is prepped, and everything looks good. As Janie is getting ready, she sees the joint and smiles at her reflection with an idea in mind. Adam arrives at the house and is met by a high Janie eating a gooey cake. Adam brings her a gift, which is an appointment book, as a sly joke about Janie constantly forgetting their appointments. Adam even writes the appointments in advance. Suddenly, Janie kisses Adam on the lips instead of the cheek. Later, as Adam drives Janie, who is still under the influence, she starts laughing unreasonably. She asks if Adam has ever smoked pot. Adam reveals he hasn't since his kids were born, and it turns out their kids are the same ages. Janie holds up the joint in view of a police patrol car. Adam warns Janie not to show that while the cops are there. Janie waves to the cops and almost gets caught, but she gets excited by the close call. She suddenly becomes interested in the car, and Adam wonders if Janie is high from just a little smoke. They arrive at the party, but end up smoking pot together in the yard. Adam admits he hasn't had this much fun in 3 years. They smoke some more before arriving and act normal at the party. Adam and Janie are feeling the effects of the weed. During the party, Adam gets along well with Janie's kids. Jake, however, is not feeling well as he watches them have fun with Adam around. Adam and Janie enjoy the party, but they spot Jake walking across the room. Agnes arrives, and Janie introduces her, saying something a bit odd about both of them having been married to Jake. Janie becomes extra talkative, which weirds her out. Jake pulls Janie aside to talk. Janie admits she is stoned, and Jake is upset because the joint was supposed to be for him and Janie. Janie smokes the pot with Jake. As she is lighting it, Harley enters the bathroom and catches them. Janie offers a hit to Harley, and now they are all passing the joint. Jake gives Harley a shotgun smoke. They come out of the bathroom all high. The party amps up, especially with dancing. Jake later dances with Janie, while Adam dances with Agnes. Adam points out the two of them to Agnes, who notices and feels something is off. Adam then invites Janie to dance. After the party, Adam drives Janie back. Both of them have had so much fun. Adam admits how much he likes Janie, and Janie admits she likes him too. Janie asks if she is too old for Adam because all the women set up for Adam are younger than her. Adam says she is his favorite. Adam requests Janie to make those delicious chocolate cakes. They go to her restaurant. Janie tells him she can make anything on the menu, and Adam requests a croissant, which can be quite a tedious process to make. So the post-party party is them making a croissant together. They finish and then feast on the croissants. Janie admits she has been seeing someone, but now it is over. Adam says he doesn't want to see someone who is seeing someone else. Adam checks Janie's cooking scars on her hands and kisses them. Later, they end up kissing. Luke wakes up in the house, finding Harley wearing feminine pajamas. Gabby spots Jake outside, sleeping in his car. Concerned, Janie rushes out to check on Jake, only to find him announcing that he's leaving Agnes. He admits to Agnes about him and Janie because Agnes saw the light in Jake's eyes, and he hopes to have a second chance with Janie. The kids, along with Harley and Lauren, interrogate Jake, causing Harley to groan as he realizes he's keeping their secret. Then, Luke asks Janie if Jake can stay in the house for a few weeks. In an unexpected turn of events, Jake suddenly starts crying, prompting the kids to join in, ultimately leading Janie to have no choice but to welcome Jake back in. Later, while Janie is tending to the gardens, Jake disturbs her, suggesting that they should have a chance now that he is free. Despite Janie's reluctance, she hugs Jake as he requests before he leaves to get a DVD for a movie night. Later, Adam calls, and Jake is saddened by this because Janie sounds genuinely happy talking to Adam. The movie night proceeds with her and the children. Jake is now staying in the house, and he asks his kids about their mom. Luke and Gabby feel weird about that night, especially Luke, who never remembers his parents being together. Gabby also admits to being very damaged by the divorce. Meanwhile, Janie is busy Skyping Adam while deciding which clothes to throw away. Adam leaves the laptop for a while, and Janie is in the bathroom. However, Jake enters all the way with the webcam focused on his junk. So when Adam comes out, he sees Jake's body. Janie comes out screaming, and Adam does too. Adam takes this as a misunderstanding. With Adam there, the kids also barge into the room. Jake then reveals about Janie and Jake having an affair while Adam is still listening. Adam exits the call upset. Jake thinks it is good news, but the kids are still getting over the divorce. When Luke asks Janie, she says that they are not getting back together. The kids leave, and so does Jake. Janie falls asleep by the poolside. She decides to make a good day out of it and knocks at Harley's and Lauren's house with the other siblings there. Janie talks to the kids about the situation with their dad and hugs it off, understanding their parents' reality. As Janie realizes, they do not really belong to each other, and it is really over. Later, Janie goes to Adam's office and admits everything to him, clarifying that her relationship with Jake is really over. She tries to get empathy from him since Adam also divorced. Janie explains that Jake is there because of some reason. Adam tells Janie that they should not get involved together anymore since she has to look into her relationship with Jake. Adam also decides to step out from the architecture job for Janie's renovation project house. Back at her house, Janie sees Jake again, and he apologizes for everything, from being a bad husband to the other night. They finally have their closure now. The renovation starts on a rainy day, and Adam has not stepped out yet. Adam tells Janie that the rain is a good luck charm when building. Janie invites the workers to have coffee inside instead. As they walk and talk inside, Adam asks Janie for croissants, and they become closer again.